All right, so once again, I want to welcome everyone to our EOF class of 2028 information session. So this session is for all students who have been accepted into the EOF program this year or this coming fall, so for fall 2024. First and foremost, I'm going to congratulate all of you, right, on your acceptance. We've accepted so far 330 students into the program, but we know that not all 330 students choose to come to Rutgers. The program itself actually has we're on a first come, first serve basis. So although we accept larger amounts of students, we do have a limited amount of seats in the program. And what we're going to be talking about today a little bit is more about what we do and why you want to choose us over maybe some of the other institutions, as we know that being a part of or graduating from high school is a lot. And for some folk, it's trying to figure out like what school is the best fit for you. And we're excited to be able to have that conversation with you all. And we know some of you have questions, not just about the EOF program, but about the Summer Institute and all of the other pieces that are involved in the program, which we will be talking about this afternoon or this evening. In addition to that, I'm going to ask that you all pay thorough attention because we do have, like I said, an activity at the end. We have a Kahoot game at the end, and our winning person will receive a very nice prize from us when we hopefully get to see you during our Summer Institute or during one of our orientations, where we'll be able to give you said prize. So I'm going to now go over to our next slide. So you've met most of us. You've met my entire team with the exception of one person, which is my supervisor, my boss. Her name is Dr. Randy Mayers. She is the Executive Director of Student Success. So Dr. Mayers is currently out on maternity leave. So right now I am doing her job and my job. So we're actually typically a team of 5 during the academic school year, which is my boss, myself, and then all of the counselors. So you'll might not get a chance to see her during the summer, but she will be back in August and in September, which is when many of you will have the opportunity of getting to meet our lovely, lovely, fearless boss, who without her, we can't make any of this stuff happen. You already met me and my lovely face, so I'm going to keep it pushing. You've also met Miss Gibbons, who's one of our senior counselors. You've met Miss Waters, who's on the call, who's also one of our senior counselors. And last but not least, you met Mr. Perez, who is our senior student programs coordinator and also part of our counseling team as well. So one of the biggest pieces of that is that all of those faces, minus myself and Dr. Mayers, all of those faces, so the 3 other individuals on this call, will be serving as counselors to our students in the program. So one of the biggest pieces that we always like to share with our students is that the EOF program is not like oh, you just come with us to get into the university and you're just with us for your freshman year. Now, how the program works across the state of New Jersey, we are a state grant funded program that supports students who come from low income backgrounds or students who come from first generation households. So you might be the first person in your family to graduate. You might not be the first person. You might be the second or the third. But we support students who are from the state of New Jersey, getting them not only just into college, but through it. So one of the big and core focuses of being a part of our program is that we provide you with support from the moment that you enter Rutgers all the way up to when you graduate. One of the biggest misconceptions about EOF, and this is not just Rutgers, this is literally across the board for all institutions. The EOF program is not a financial aid program. We always have to say that to students because the program itself is not a financial aid program. We are a student support program that provides some financial assistance, right? But we also provide a lot more support. So I always say, think of us as the individuals who provide you with, think of us as like as that person that like will hold you accountable. Think of us as like probably your favorite teacher. If you really liked your guidance counselor in high school, whoever that person is that helped get you through high school, think of us as those people. And if you didn't have somebody like that while you were in high school, we are those people for you while you're here. One of the biggest things about being a part of EOF is like once you're in EOF, you're a part of our community from the moment, like pretty much from the moment you've been admitted all the way through to like once you become an alumni. We have over 77,000 alumni across the state of New Jersey who have graduated from EOF programs, and once you graduate, will be able to be a part of that community. Whether if you do that here at Rutgers Camden or you do that somewhere else, once you are a part of EOF, you are always a part of the EOF community, which is something that's really big. Today's session really talks about what we do here specifically at Rutgers Camden. So, as you've heard me say already, EOF provides personal and academic support to all qualified students from the moment that you've gotten into Rutgers to when you graduate. So like, as I said, from this moment, since you've all been accepted into the university, if you commit to come to Rutgers, we're supporting you from the moment you've gotten here all the way through to whatever's next. So say, for example, you graduate with your bachelor's, you want to go for your master's degree, we support you in that area. If you're in a nursing program and you get to the point of where you have to take your NCLEX exams, we provide support for that. If you're a student that requires support in, say, for example, you've never gotten um, testing done for, specific reasons. So say, for example, you might have maybe a learning disability, or you may, specifically when it comes to, I think for us on the university, if students have any kind of like a neurodiverse community, we specifically provide supports for a lot of our students in our program that fall within this spectrum as well. In addition to students who might not have gotten testing because it might have been expensive when you were in high school, we provide supports and funding towards students who want to get testing done here at the university, but you have to be a part of our program to receive some of those supports, in addition to many, many other things I'm going to go over in a minute. So the biggest things about the program structure is all students who are a part of the EOF, who are incoming first-year students, are required to participate in our 4-week summer institute. That is not an option. It is a requirement for all students. Part of that is regardless of whatever institution that you go to, whether if you're EOF here, if you're EOF at another Rutgers campus or any other campus, or you're EOF there is a required summer institute that you have to attend. That's one of the biggest pieces as to why we push to make sure all of our students are committed during a certain time, because we do have a summer institute cutoff. And then after that, like I said before, we become a first come, first serve basis. Any student who misses that opportunity, we cannot guarantee to provide you with those supports and things in the future. So that's why we always try to get everybody to get those things in and taken care of prior to, so that we can give you the supports from the moment you're here all the way through to whenever you need. In addition to that, all of the students in the program are assigned a counselor. So one of the 3 individuals that you met earlier, who will give you one-on-one and group like support. So as I said, think of them as kind of like your guidance counselors. Think of them similar to academic advisors, where really their main goal is to hold you accountable from the moment that you come to Rutgers all the way through to when you graduate. So I'm going to keep saying that over and over again, because I think that's really important for you to know that, like, it's not something that just stops once you've been admitted. It's something that you receive. It's someone that you receive, and we're with you for this entire journey. We do have a cohort specific kind of process that we've used in the past, where obviously you all are the class of 2028. So you are like our class of 2028 cohort, meaning we want to see you start here in 2024 and graduate in 4. We know some of our students take, a little bit longer, and that's okay too, but you will always be a part of this incoming summer cohort class, because each summer's experience is relatively different, but they have a very similar outcome. So perks of being a part of the EOF program, all EOF students receive a counselor, as you've heard me mention before, but all students who are admitted through the EOF program receives an additional grant of $19.50 for the year. So that's why we always tell students that, like, we're not a financial aid program. We are a student support program. So think of that as $19.50 split between both the fall and the spring. $19.50 split between the fall and spring semester, which is relatively around about $9.75 per semester that's added onto each of our students' financial aid packages. That will not show up on your financial aid package when you receive it, because with EOF there's another portion in a process that you have to participate in after you have committed. So right now, students are getting accepted into the institution and they are committing. But once you see that, like, financial aid award packages are going out, which should be going out sometime in the next couple of weeks to students, which I have a blurb from the financial aid office that I'll talk about that in a minute. But once you receive that, you'll see that the EOF award will not show up on there, because there's another process that all EOF students have to go through after they've already committed to coming, to make sure that we've cleared and gone through what we call state verification, which I'll talk about in a minute in the next couple of slides. In addition to that, all students in our program get access to a lot of resources. So we help pay for some of your course materials. So for those of you who are not familiar or don't know, in college, you are responsible for paying for all of your books from pretty much in every semester. We help support our students in that regard. That's on a very, very need basis, but we do provide some supports in those areas. We also provide many of our students with laptops. So if you're someone that didn't have a laptop in high school, or you have a loaner laptop that you have to give back, or a Chromebook, we make sure that our students get, laptops, and make sure that you're all set and good to go. We also provide you with a lot of other academic support and materials. So like anyone that needs like their school books, any kind of swag, all those kind of things, we provide that for our students. That is something that is unique and specific to the EOF program that no other student on campus gets access to. So that's why we're very big on trying to make sure that students who are accepted into the program commit to being in the program, because it's always really hard. And I've said this before, where students decide, hey, I don't want to be a part of the EOF program. It just seems like a lot. And then they leave. And then every time in the spring semester or the next year, they'll come back and they're like, hey, I want to be an EOF now. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I have a spot for you. Because when you were offered the spot, you said no to it. And then, we have to then go on to the next person. So we always try to say that, like, when you are offered it, take it, commit to it, say it's yours, because if you lose it, it's harder to kind of get back into it after the. So we always try to make that clear to everyone in the beginning. Other perks that we have for our students. So we also help pay for classes during the summer and the winter. So summer and winter funding for EOF is very different. What that means is any student in our program that takes a class during the summertime or the winter, we pay for that course. That's not something that many other students on campus typically get. That is something specific to the EOF program, that if you decide that you're gonna like want to get ahead a little bit, or you're falling behind and you want to start catching up in your classes, we help pay for those classes during the summer sessions and also during the winter session. So that is something also very specific to the EOF program that no one else on our campus really has access to. And then you get additional access to a lot of other supports on campus and resources. So that also includes resources around financial support. So with EOF, although we provide a grant for 1950 that goes on to everyone's bills, or towards everyone's student bills, another thing that students that are part of the EOF program get support from is the Office of Financial Aid. So what that means is usually students who are accepted into EOF and have committed to EOF and have gotten all of their financial aid awards and have used all of their financial aid. So that also includes, like, if you're going to be living on campus and like you have to pay for housing and a few of those other things, like those things are not included in the general bill that most people see. You see like your tuition and fees, but you don't necessarily see like, oh, I'm going to be living on campus, I have to pay for this, I have to pay for that. All students, specifically EOF students, uh, the Office of Financial Aid tries to support you the best way that they can by providing as much support as possible, but it has to be what we call like in essence a bottom dollar. So that means you've had to had use all of your aid in order for them to provide you with additional aid. Sometimes a lot of students say, like, I don't want to take out the student loans. Can you provide me with more grant aid from the financial aid office? And they will always tell you that they can't do that because they have to see that, like, it's after you've used as much of your aid as possible, including the loans, in order for them to provide you with additional financial aid support. But with the EOF program, our students typically, when they put in an appeal, usually are pushed to the top of the list over students who are not EOF, which is something that's really big, that most students kind of miss out on when they aren't a part of the program. So I want to share a little bit more information about the admissions process, which is really important. So right now, you all are in part one, which means you have been accepted into the university, which is huge. Hence why we said congratulations. But some of you are now getting ready to transition into part two, which the part two is the EOF verification process. So when you first applied to the EOF program, you all had to probably submit some financial documents to the university for what we call preliminary review. Right after that, once a student has been accepted and they have committed to coming, so in the next couple of weeks, students who have said yes to the EOF program, they will then get opened up for something we call EOF verification. And that verification process is specific to the state, meaning it might be some of the similar documents that have been asked for from the university. It might be some different documentation, maybe things for different years. It really depends on like what you and your family put into your FAFSA. That's pretty much how they kind of select those documents. One of the biggest pieces to that is once you go through EOF verification, that is when the state is verifying you to make sure that you qualify for our program, meaning that you meet the income guidelines for the EOF program once you have already been admitted. So that process happens afterwards, and that's why you will not see an EOF award on your student, on your student financial aid package, because that students only get awarded after they've already gone through the verification process and have been complete. Most of the students in our program typically go through all the students in our program typically go through the verification process before the summer institute. So you'll know before the summer if you've cleared EOF verification, which is why we're going to tell you that once you start getting emails and things of that nature for students who have already committed to coming, that you do all the things that we ask. Right. So all the documents that the financial aid office is sending you, maybe the phone calls that we send out to you, maybe the emails that we send out to you, please take care of those items, because a lot of the times students don't get verified in time. And then sometimes you get removed from the EOF process because you weren't communicating to us. And with the EOF program, all students in our program have to clear all of their documents and stuff before the start of the Summer Institute, which I'll go into in a bit in a few slides, which is the next one. So you've heard me say the EOF Summer Institute, and I want to make sure that I kind of go through this and share to you all what the Summer Institute is. So across the board on all of the EOF programs across the state of New Jersey, we all have some kind of summer component. The Summer Institute is our way of getting our students caught up and prepared for the fall semester before classes start. So some of you might have been taking dual enrollment classes, meaning you were taking classes in college. Maybe some of you were a part of the LEAP program or other programs where you were taking classes on Rutgers campus, but as a high school student. It's very different than that. So the EOF Summer Institute is a residential experience for all of our students. So all students have to move onto campus for this 4-week window. For us this year, it'll go from July 5th to August 2nd. During that time, you're living on campus with us where you are taking your class. You're taking classes that are going towards your major specifically, but then also you're getting connected with a lot more resources on campus. So you're getting to know different campus partners. You're getting to know a lot of the other kind of nuances that like it means to get through the Rutgers experience. And right after that, you are very much well prepared. The EOF program is notoriously known for having a high first year retention. I know some of you don't really care about that number, but retention is pretty much how many students we keep from the fall semester to the spring semester and the spring semester into the next fall. So from your freshman year to your sophomore year. We're notoriously known for having the highest retention numbers across the university from their freshman year into your second year. A lot of other students who are not EOF usually do not have that benefit because we provide you with all these resources. And a lot of that is due to the Summer Institute. One of the things about the Summer Institute that we also have to share to everybody is that the Summer Institute is mandatory for all incoming first year students for our program. Meaning like there's no way out of it. You can't just kind of be like, hey, like I want to go on vacation. Can I but it's during the Summer Institute. It's kind of pretty much impossible to do so because you're taking a 16-week semester in a 4-week period. So think of what a traditional school year, a traditional semester will look like, which will go in essence from like the start of September all the way through to December. Think about taking that, but you're doing that in 4 weeks. So pretty much every day you have class. Monday to Thursday, you will be having class. And during that time, like you cannot miss any of those things because if you miss one class or two classes, pretty much that students end up failing. And when students fail, we run the issue of then like kind of starting you behind in this fall semester. Some students have had Fs. It's very rare that we have students who actually fail throughout the Summer Institute because you have a lot of supports that get you through it. But I'll go into a little bit more detail about that in the next slide. So next is kind of just the basics about the Summer Institute, just to share. So as I shared, all students this year, the Summer Institute runs from July 5th to August 2nd. So students will move on campus and will have a housing assignment have a housing assignment, but you'll move into your housing assignment by July 5th. So that's the day after the 4th of July week. After 4th of July, all of our students move on campus on the 5th. Then we have our kickoff weekend where you kind of get connected with a lot more resources, get prepared, and then classes start on July 8th. All students in our program are required to be here for the duration of that time. It can't be like, hey, I have this thing. I'm not going to be here that weekend. Can I just come to class on Monday? If you cannot be here for that weekend, then you kind of miss the opportunity of being in the program. Then we have to remove you from the EOF program. What that means is if we remove you from the program, you have to then be re-reviewed by the admissions office. And then if they say you are not eligible, and this has happened actually a couple of times at this point, where students have said, I don't want to be a part of EOF. They go to admissions and say, hey, I want to be regularly reviewed. And then they review you and say you don't meet the qualifications for regular review, and then you lose your admissions to Rutgers. And we hate when that happens. So we always try to tell our students, like, it's 4 weeks. You can give us 4 weeks of your time. We made sure this summer is shorter in previous years. Caroline can tell you, we've had it for 6 weeks. We've had it for 5 weeks. We've literally shortened the Summer Institute this year into 4 weeks, just so that students can enjoy another part of their summer, right? You can enjoy August, have some time, do whatever you need to do so that you can come ready for classes in September. Right. And this year, one of the perks of being a part of the Summer Institute is any student who has successfully completed the Summer Institute will receive a stipend that will pay for your books in the fall. That's one of one of those big things. That's something that's actually very new to our program this year that we haven't done in previous years. So just know that like miss out on this opportunity. I'm telling you now, it's really hard. People have always come up to me, emailed me later when they missed the summer and be like, hey, like, can I still get the supports? We're like, nah, bro, like we tried the best that we could to help you. and we do the best we can now. So that's why we try to get everybody to like kind of jump in the best way you can from the very, very beginning. But I've done a lot of talking, so I want you to actually hear from students who've gone through the Summer Institute last year. We do a video pretty much every year, so you can kind of learn from the students who've just gone through this experience. So I'm going to play that video next.
The EOF Summer Institute is a 5-week program that helps students transition from high school to college in the fall. It's a program that's filled with things like workshops with other campus partners. They're also able to take up to 7 college credits during the summer, and so that way they get to enter into their fall experience already ahead of the game.
My name is Batwan Ozdemir. I'm 18 years old, and I'm majoring in health science, and I'm an incoming freshman from Burlington City High School, and I'm aspiring to be an orthodontist. I was very nervous, and I was panicking, and I didn't really have the confidence to go into the field with EOF and get used to college. The summer program helped me with that by boosting my confidence and my motivation for college, and it made me seem that I was more prepared for the upcoming fall semester.
I was always nervous speaking in front of a group of people, and that was my biggest fear in high school. But coming here and being in public speaking with Professor Aziz, she actually helped with that. I feel confident when I talk to others.
In high school, it was very much like, you have to do this and you have to get this done at a certain time. But in college, it's just make sure it's done. They're not really going to hold your hand, so I feel like it's a lot of independence.
College isn't like what high school was. College is a small classroom with at least 20 individuals, and y'all have to get together as a group in order to beat this one class. Y'all can't be just doing your own thing. You need to network as much as you can just to get through college.
They always come in kind of nervous in their very first couple of days of the Summer Institute, and you can tell that they're kind of putting on a face a bit, right? But then after a little bit of time, you really start to see their personalities come through in classes or in workshops or even just seeing them in your office. It's a really exciting time to be able to see who they are and who they want to be as students.
The advice I would give a new high school student that is incoming from high school: don't be afraid, don't be nervous, give it a try.
My most memorable experience was the whole Spirit Week.
So I was on the purple team, which we are known as Royal Pain. The best team, in my opinion.
We put a lot of effort into our shirts, purple team, of course, with Miss Linda, and it was just the whole week. It felt really fun and uplifting. Everyone was so happy about it. It was like a family.
Even though we all were completely different and none of us really were friends throughout this whole program, but we all connected, danced the whole time, celebrated, and the games were really fun too. I mean, it was weird working with people that I've never worked with, but we made it happen.
College is kind of this clean slate that they get to come in and be exactly who they want to be. And so this is the perfect time to kind of push yourself, make those connections, and show up as you are. If you have any questions about our EOF Summer Institute, you can always go to our website to find more information. You're also welcome to reach out to any EOF counselors or staff, and we'd be happy to help you.
My name is Dante Benson, and I am EOF ready.
I am EOF ready.
I am EOF ready.
Don't forget, you're EOF ready.
All right. So that was all Summer Institute stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 2 seconds, just so you know, all get a breather. I'm also going to open up the floor for you to ask us some general questions. There is a second part to the presentation that talks more about the Summer Institute and other things that you need to know. But I figure we can make this a good halfway point to allow y'all to ask us some questions. So you can use the chat feature, you can raise your hand, and we can call on you. You can unmute yourself and ask said questions. So feel free to kind of do so now. And if you don't, we could always just go on to the next part of the presentation too. So, there's that part too. So if you don't have any questions, you can just write no questions at this time in the chat, and then we'll go on to the next portions of the presentation. Questions at this time. Oh, y'all are a good bunch. I like y'all. So I'm gonna reshare again. And we're going to go on to the second portion of the presentation. All right. So you've all heard from our students about what the Summer Institute is and like what we do with the Summer Institute. So as shared, the EOF Summer Institute is a free experience for all of our students, right? So any student who is accepted into our program, you go through the Summer Institute free of charge. You don't have to pay for housing. You don't have to pay for your food. You don't have to pay for any of these pieces. Students who participate in the Summer Institute will gain 3 college credits. Sometimes it depends. It can be up to 7 depending on the summer. This summer, all of our students are getting 3 college level credits that goes towards their degree completion. So you might have, like I said before, taken classes while you were in high school. And some of them will transfer over, some of them may not, some of them may not. But all of the classes that we offer during the Summer Institute are towards your degree completion, which is very big. So it's not like you'll take a class and be like, oh, I'll never ever use this class. Like, I don't really need it. Some of them are towards your major. Some of them are considered like general education or elective credits. Those are classes that all students pretty much have to take in order to graduate. So one of the real big confusing pieces that a lot of people tend to say is like, you go off to college, you're like, oh, I'm a nursing major, but you have me in a psychology class. I'm not interested in psych. Every student at the university has to take a psychology class, regardless of if you're a nursing major or a psych major. A lot of that is to get you to understand like what we call general education. So you learn about the different kind of aspects at the institution. You learn about different classes, just in case you want to change your major someday. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to, but the general education classes kind of makes it a more well-rounded experience. We see that familiar concept with like liberal arts colleges, where like you have a lot more of a well-rounded kind of syllabus or curriculum. That is what the general education requirements are. So just to like kind of nip that piece, we always like to tell students at the very beginning of time that like, yes, you are, all the classes that you're taking are going towards your degree completion, and not every class that you're going to take at any university is going to be specific to your major. Some of them are going to be general education requirements because that's just what universities offer. Students who participate in our Summer Institute have a stronger connection on campus too. You heard from our students about their experiences during the summer, who they've gotten to know, not just with each other, but with staff and with faculty on campus. Their public speaking. A lot of our students end up going off to be able to like you have to present at some point, right? There's no way that you can go through your whole college experience and not talk to people. So we kind of build that during the summer, and we also continue that throughout the school year. Some of our students, Mr. Perez took some of our students to Florida this year for a conference. We often like to send students away to conferences and things like that. There's so many opportunities that are offered, not just to the university, but like specifically to students in EOF, where you can participate in so many other aspects of things that we have to offer. That is not just in the state of New Jersey, that's also outside of New Jersey. So there's always a lot of conferences and things that we can do as well. And any student who successfully completes the Summer Institute, meaning that you went through it, you completed it, you've passed your class, you will receive a stipend at the end which will probably be mailed to you, or we can try to figure it out. We're working on that right now. A stipend for all of our students who've completed the Summer Institute, where you can take that money, and we usually recommend like utilize this to pay for your books when classes start in the fall, or utilize that to get some course materials, that kind of thing. But you know, it's yours. What you do with it is what you do with it, and that's kind of where it goes from there. The same thing with the laptops too, right? We give laptops to our students. All of our students who are first years that may need it. That is not like a loaner, like where it's like we give it to you and you give it back. The only time that it's a loaner specifically is if we give it to you and you decide that you're not returning to the university. We always ask for that back. Because at that point we will give it to the next student. But outside of that, all of the students in our program, we give you your laptop. That is your laptop to keep, but it is your responsibility to take care of it too. So if you break it, don't come knocking on my door in my office later like, hey, Mr. West, I broke my laptop, can I get another one? It's like, nah, all of our students get one. And it's your responsibility to maintain that and upkeep that. So like once you get it, make sure you sign up to make sure you get the warranty that's on it, register it, do all of the things that you need to do to take care of that. And then we also have a really great IT department that can also help our students when it comes down to like taking care of the materials that they have. So that's all of the perks that comes with that. So here's a message from our admissions not be here today. I didn't say this earlier, but I think it's really important to note this at this point in time. We are not the Office of Admissions. I think a lot of times, like when things happen and people have questions about their admissions application, everyone always emails me and I always have to forward your message to admissions. With the EOF program, we work with students after they've already been accepted. So the reason why all of you received an email from me is because you all got accepted into the program. Some of you have already committed to coming, and others are still kind of weighing your options. So, which is fine, but that's why you received that email from me. But in most cases, if you have a friend that like applied to EOF and they haven't heard anything, they have to contact admissions because they do with all of the pieces before you've gotten into the program. And we work with students after they have already been accepted. So I always like to like kind of put those in between. So here's a message from them just so that you all get some information that you need to know. So for the EOF program, as you've all seen an email from me, our cutoff for Summer Institute is this Friday, meaning tomorrow, May 10th. That means that if you commit by Friday, May 10th, you will get a guaranteed spot for the Summer Institute. After that date, any student that commits later will run the risk of potentially not being able to be pulled into the summer. We have limited slots for the Summer Institute and they are filling up very fast. Usually we have about 65 spaces and we've already filled up 42. So that is why it's very important that if you haven't already committed, please try to commit. And one of the biggest things that we always like to tell students is we understand that like a lot of you are still waiting to hear back from like the financial aid office and all the pieces and trying to get your award letter. We often try to tell our students that like we give you upfront. We're like very upfront with you with the amount of money that we particularly give you from the EOF program. And you can also make the decision later, right? To say like, hey, you know, I committed today, but then maybe like a week from now, 2 weeks from now, you're like, maybe after seeing my financial aid award package, maybe this is not the institution I want to go to. I want to go somewhere else. And you can go ahead and make that decision to do so. But we always say like, you want to secure your spot first. It's better to have it and then like get rid of it than to not have it and need it and then cause other issues. So that's why we try to like work out with our students. But just to be very clear that I know that a lot of you are still waiting to get your financial aid packages from the university, which they are working on. There should be coming out, as I shared before, closer in the next couple of weeks. So just pay attention to your emails. Other things that the Office of Financial Aid wants you all to know: if you have committed already to the university, meaning you have said yes to Rutgers Camden and you are coming here, please make sure that before you leave, like meaning as you're getting ready to graduate, that your official transcript is sent to the university. We've run into so many issues in previous years where students' official transcripts were not sent to the university, and then they're like, well, this student didn't graduate, and then as a result of that, then we have to take away your admissions then. So please make sure that you are on top of your, if you have decided to come to Rutgers Camden, that you are on top of your guidance counselors to make sure that you're, that your stuff is sent to us in a reasonable amount of time. That also includes like whatever your final grades are and your graduation date. One of the other pieces that everyone has to know, and I always have to share this information with you, if you do not finish, so say for example, if you happen to be failing a class and you don't pass that class and you don't graduate on time, you cannot participate in the Summer Institute because you have to have already been like a student who's graduated. So what that means is you're going to have to communicate with the admissions office and say, let them know like, hey, I have to take a summer class at my high school. Is there a way for me to push my admissions or something like that with EOF? At that point, if you know that you're already slipping and you're falling behind and you might not pass, or your guidance counselor is telling you like, hey, you're probably not going to be walking with us in June, please make sure you let people know that in advance. What happened in previous years, and I've always shared this because this is actually something very recent, we've had students who've come into our summer program like even as recently as last summer, who did not finish their high school, did not finish high school. They tried to avoid taking the whatever their summer courses were. We didn't get their final transcript, and then we have to remove you from the process, which kind of makes it a lot worse for you. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. We'll tell y'all 1,000 times, y'all. Please don't do that. Please don't try to avoid it. Please take care of your things. There's always space, there's always time, and we'll always try to support students the best way that we can. So please make sure that you're on top of your grades. We understand that senioritis is real, and some of you are probably like, I'm not even trying to be doing any more classes at this point. Please try to make sure you get all of your work in so that you know that you are graduated. Because we hate for situations that come up where students end up missing the opportunity and then end up losing this opportunity in the EOF program. And then any student after you've already committed, so if you're on the call and you already said yes to Rutgers Camden, you should also get access once you log into your portal. You should have something called my enrollment checklist. So a lot of that is going to tell you other documentation and things that you have to get complete. So that also includes any kind of placement testing that you have to get done, any other documentations, your immunizations that you have to submit, all of the things that you have to take care of before we even start the summer. You have to get all of those things in a reasonable amount of time. And one of the biggest perks of being a part of the EOF program is EOF students do not have to pay the enrollment fee. So if you already been accepted into the university through the EOF program and there's something on your thing that says, please pay this enrollment fee, please do not do that. Just email myself or email myself, or specifically email the admissions office and say, hey, I've already been accepted into the EOF program and I see that there's an enrollment fee on here. I was told that EOF students do not have to pay that enrollment fee. Do not pay that enrollment fee. And if you pay it, unfortunately, there's no way that you can get that money back. So that's why I'm telling you right now, if you have not paid it, do not pay that enrollment fee. I think it's like $200 or something like that to like secure your spot in the fall semester. I don't really know what the actual number is, but if you see it pop up on your student account that says pay your enrollment fee or your enrollment deposit, please reach out to the admissions office immediately and let them know that you're in our program. That is different than the housing deposit. The housing deposit is not the enrollment deposit. The housing deposit is to secure your place in housing if you're playing to the one campus in the fall. That deposit students do have to pay, but the enrollment deposit you do not. Those are two different things. So we always have to make sure that if you're playing to the one campus in the fall, that you know that like the housing deposit is one that you have to pay. The enrollment one is the one that you do not. And then here's a message from our friends from financial aid who also cannot be here this evening. Students who are accepted to Rutgers University should be expecting award packages by the end of this month. I was told it should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So just please make sure you're paying attention to your emails on that. But if you're still kind of on the fence, you're like, I really, really want to know if like what award I'm getting. And one of the emails that I sent all of you, it says that you get the one that says commit now, deadline May 10th or whatever. In there is a link for the Rutgers net price calculator. You can go into that and you can fill out like, the stuff on your FAFSA, all of these pieces, and it's going to give you like a breakdown of what the award is going to be or what it can be once it comes out. So that calculator kind of gives you a good estimate of what you're going to receive. Something that's very important that all of you should do if you have not done already. So one of the issues that have come up in last year and in previous years, please make sure that your FAFSA, if you've completed your FAFSA, that you're also completing their New Jersey HISA applications. So usually it's an automatic thing. So if you get an email right after you've completed your FAFSA and your FAFSA has been then verified by, the federal government, usually the state of New Jersey will pull your information because you're a New Jersey resident and you are kind of doing whatever you need to do. And they're going to say, please complete your profile for HISA. As of right now, there are about 6 students, because I went through the roster yesterday. There's about 6 students who have already committed to our program that are not on the HISA database. That means that there's a possibility that you might not have like kind of done whatever you needed to do. If you already completed it, right? If you logged in, you put in your social security numbers and done all the stuff on the New Jersey HISA site, then good. If you have not done that, please make sure that you try to get that done because your tag award is additional information, additional aid that you can receive. One of the other challenges to this, and this is why I also say this is really important, all students who have done their HISA, so say for example, you've already gotten like information from HISA to complete stuff, there's going to be documentation that you need to submit to the state. You have to do those documents. You have to do, there's no way around them. You have to do their documents. If you need help, please reach out to myself. Please reach out to Mr. Perez. We will be able to kind of help guide you through how to get those documents in for the state. But you have to do verification for the state because one of the challenges with that is if the state deems you ineligible, meaning that you are not eligible to receive state aid, you cannot be in the EOF program. And that has happened several times before because students ignored the email from HISA on things that they needed to submit. So please make sure that you get those things taken care of ahead of time so that therefore, once you get your tag award, which can be upwards of almost $10,000 for the school year for every student, you don't want to lose that amount of money. So please make sure that like if you haven't done so that you're paying attention to that because that has also caused a lot of issues for students after they've been accepted and admitted into the university. So here are the remaining report and reminders that we have for you. So our deadline, like I said, for the EOF program is if you commit tomorrow or by tomorrow, you are guaranteed a spot into our summer institute. All other students are then placed on a wait list. So say, for example, you waited till next week to commit. We will then review on a case-by-case basis to see if we have space to say, yes, you can join us for the summer. The challenge with that is if you cannot join us for the summer, then you have to get regularly reviewed. And if the university says like, hey, unfortunately, like you do not meet the general requirement, we're going to have to rescind your offer rescind your offer to the university. then that's kind of like the end all be all on that. But we want to make sure that we don't want that to happen. So that's why we're giving you as much information as we possibly can up front, so that you can let us know ahead of time all of that information. And like there is some wiggle room. So our current deadline right now is May 10th, which is tomorrow, but we will still be reviewing students all the way up until pretty much next Friday, which is the 17th, I believe. So any student that pretty much commits in this kind of window, if we filled up all of our spots by tomorrow, then everybody else is waitlisted. But if we haven't and we still see that, you'll know, because you'll start getting emails from us that says, thank you, you have been placed on a wait list for the EOF program. We will, consider, reviewing your information at a later date. Please complete all of the documentation that you need to complete in the meantime, so that once the time has come for us to say, yes, congratulations, then you don't have to like rush and do all the stuff at the last minute. So try to get that stuff done ahead of time. Complete your placement test. All students typically have to take a math placement, English placement, and then I think it's like a foreign language. But some students have gotten their placement tests waived based off of the score that you got on your SATs. If you did take the SAT and you scored high enough on the math, I believe it should already come up as waived on your My Enrollment checklist portal. But if it does not, you would have to email admissions and say like, hey, I took the SATs, it's not on here. Because sometimes what happens is students don't send their SAT scores to Rutgers, and as a result, that's why they haven't waived that. So that's also something you should do. If you have taken an SAT and you have not listed Rutgers as one of the institutions to receive your SAT scores, please make sure you do that, because that's the only way that they'll probably be able to waive it instead of doing all this back end stuff. So try to get that done as soon as possible. Check your email for all information regarding EOF. You're all going to start getting a lot more emails for us over the next couple of weeks, specifically things around like orientations, things that you need to attend, so that we can prepare for the Summer Institute. If you use a high school email, so say for example, your high school has an email address that they have sent to you or that they gave you throughout your time in, like while you're in school, please make sure that you go onto your Rutgers application and you change your email from your high school email to your personal email account. Because what ends up happening is we typically send emails to our students to their personal emails up until the start of the Summer Institute, right? Because some students have a hard time kind of getting onto the portal and taking care of their stuff. So we send a lot of our emails to our students through your personal, like the ones that you use to apply to the university. What happens is a lot of the time students use their high school email, but that email goes dead once you've graduated. And then we get kickback emails saying like, this email is not valid, this email is not valid, this email is not valid. So we've always asked students, please make sure that you go in and you change your application email to a personal Gmail. If you have an iCloud email, use that. Whatever email address that's not your school's email, please utilize that, because it is going to cause a lot more issues once your email account goes off for your high school, and then we have no other way of getting in contact with you. And then the last thing I'm going to share on this slide in particular is if you have completed college credits at your high school, please make sure that you request an official transcript from that college and have them send it to our admissions office. This has been an issue that happened in previous years too, where students have said, oh, I took college credits or I took this class already, but you didn't submit your transcripts. So please make sure that you request your official transcripts from the colleges that you went to while you were in high school and have those transcripts mailed to our admissions office, or you can drop it off at our admissions office, which is the Welcome Center. That's where it is, at the Welcome Center. You can have it dropped off there. They will review it and they will make sure that you have those things taken care of. If it's a virtual one, you can always email it to admissions as well, but it has to be the official transcript. It can't be like one that you screenshotted and then try to do it. They have to see the official seal and all of that, those pieces. So please make sure that that is also sent across the board. And then that is what we got. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play a game to see who was paying attention. So we're going to play a little game of Kahoots. And how to do this? Post live, right? I think that's what I have to do. Button. Hoping. Right. So for anyone that's not familiar with the Kahoots, it's an activity thing to kind of see who's kind of been paying attention. So we're gonna put the information into the Teams chat so that into the chat. So if you need to like click the link or something to do that, you go ahead and do it just so that you can get onto the Kahoot. And the winner, as we love to say, is whoever wins this, we have a really, really, really good prize for you. So it's a lot of EOF swag. There's a book bag. There might be some earpods. There might be an iPad in there. There might be a water bottle in there. There's a lot of stuff that we got. So we give out a lot in our program. So we want to see who's been paying attention. That's our big thing. Who's been paying attention? But I'm also going to stop recording because I don't want the people who didn't see this to get all the answers. So that's important. But I'm trying to figure out why the volume is not, playing